Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Thermomix. I'm really excited about showing you this awesome machine today. I'm going to be cooking up a couple of festive recipes, showing you how easily and effortlessly the Thermomix makes catering for your family at Christmas or just in general throughout the year. Now, you may well have noticed something like this in the kitchens of MasterChef recently. You'll see the professionals use them. They're on every bench. You'll see it on Great British Menu. And you may well have seen it on Snack Masters earlier this week as well. So these are amazing machines that are used by professional chefs all around the world. But they're also used and loved in domestic kitchens by home cooks because they make restaurant quality food easy and accessible to everybody. So they're ideal for people if you love cooking, but they're also ideal for people if you don't love cooking, if you don't know how to cook, if you don't have time to cook. This is the thing that you want in your kitchen at Christmas and throughout the year as well. Now, I'm a trained chef. That's my background. I ran my own food business until I discovered Thermomix. Now I work full-time with Thermomix and I am a team leader as well in the Grantham, Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire area. I understand people that say they don't need one of these in their lives because I was actually that person myself. I said no to this machine for 5 years because I thought I didn't need it. I thought it was a lot of money. I had lots of other gadgets in my kitchen and I decided it wasn't for me. Then I saw it in action. I went to a demo one evening with an advisor like myself. We made a few simple dishes and I was absolutely blown away by what I saw. And now this is the reason why I'm so passionate about doing demonstrations and showcasing this machine, because I think until you see it in action, you can't really get your head around it or what it can do to change your life. So hopefully I'm going to help a little bit with that this morning and show you just a few of the things that the Thermomix is capable of and why it is life-changing for so many people. Because not only does it teach people to cook, not only does it help people who are already great cooks develop their cooking repertoire, it will save you lots of time, it will save you lots of effort, it will save you lots of stress, and it will save you lots of money in the kitchen. So yes, it has a big price ticket. There's no getting away from it. But if you start to think of it more in terms of an investment, in terms of the fact that you will get that money back over a reasonably short frame of time, then it starts to make a lot more sense. So you can buy one of these machines from just £1.20 a day. And I know from experience with nearly 200 personal customers now, that you will get that back many times over. So for every £1 you spend, you will get at least 2 to 3 back on a daily basis if you're using it to its full potential. So I'm just going to show you a few of these uses now. To start with, I want to make some icing sugar actually. So all I've got in here is some regular granulated sugar. Now again, this just demonstrates how quickly the Thermomix works, but it also demonstrates how you can save money and how you can save space, because actually you do not need to buy any other sugar than regular white granulated sugar. So I am just going to weigh in my sugar. There it goes, white granulated sugar. Then I'm going to come back to my home screen. So I've got 3 dials on the front. You'll notice time, temperature and speed. I'm just going to set that for 10 seconds and speed 10. Okay, so in 10 seconds, I'm going to have icing sugar. In 2 seconds, I would have had caster sugar. I can already see the clouds of icing sugar coming out of here. Here we go. So let's just wait for that lid to release and then I'll show you what's happened. There we go. So that was turning granulated sugar into icing sugar, which is always one of the wow features of the Thermomix, in 10 seconds. Because it means, I'm just going to empty it into a bowl because we're going to use this in our sweet short crust pastry. It just means that you don't have to have 3 bags of sugar sat in your cupboard taking up space. You can just buy 1 bag and make it. Now, when you think that granulated sugar costs 50, 55p a bag, icing sugar costs nearly £2 a bag, It's at least 3 times more to buy icing sugar than it is to buy granulated sugar and turn it into icing sugar. And you've just seen how easily I've done that. It's exactly the same with caster sugar. It takes just 2 seconds. So that one's that. The next one I'm going to show you is making some homemade butter. So I'm just going to move you over to this machine here. And you can see this is the sort of the difference with these machines versus other kitchen appliances. You can see I've got this beautiful interactive touchscreen on here. And this has got access to about 60,000 recipes and counting directly on the screen. So this is why it's ideal for people that can't cook or don't know what they're doing or don't have time to think about it, because it walks you through the recipe step by step. So if I just press start on there, it's going to tell me what to do. So it says put the butterfly whisk in. Let's just take that lid off. I'll put that butterfly whisk in if you just sort of bear with me. Let me put my butterfly whisk in. Put it in correctly, give it a little turn. Okay, so let's just bring you over again. Then I'm going to click on next on that screen. So this is a guided recipe. It's talking me through it step by step. Now it's saying add in or weigh in 500 grams of double cream. So you will not believe what we're about to do. We're going to make some butter here. So here goes my double cream, and you can see that the scales are counting. Are they counting up? I'm not sure I've got quite 500 grams. That'll do. Oh, have I gone over? Here we are. It's my scale. Something's affecting my scales, I think. Is it not? What's underneath it? Maybe I've got that sat on something. So you can see it weighing in the scales as you go. Then I'm going to put the lid on. Okay, it's going to talk me through that. It's going to say insert measuring cup into mixing bowl lid. There you go. Put the lid on. And now it's preset to spin that double cream for 1 minute. You can see the time. No temperature at the moment, and the speed function. So that is going to just whisk away for a minute, and in 1 minute we are going to have made butter from double cream. It really is as simple as that. And when you think butter, I've seen the cost, as a cake maker, I've seen the cost come up and up and up of butter. It used to be 75p a block. Now if you want to buy something like Lurpak, it's nearly £2 a block. I can buy 600 grams of double cream in Asda for £1.89, and for that I get 350 grams of butter out and about 250 grams of buttermilk, which I can then use in baking. So it's like an added benefit getting that buttermilk out. The butter, 350 grams of butter is costing me £1.89. That is a third less than what it would cost to buy that butter in a supermarket. So you can already see, just by making a couple of simple things like icing sugar and butter, those savings are going to start to happen. And when you add on things like making your own yogurt, making hummus, making dips, making pizzas, making all your own bread, because it's easy and effortless in the Thermomix, then you can start to see how you will save more than it costs to buy. And that is my motto. This machine will help you save more than it costs to buy. Let me have a quick look at that. Right, perfect. So you can see in just 1 minute, I've split out that double cream into the solids and the liquid. So the solids is that yellow butter and the liquid is the buttermilk. Now, I'm just going to show you, if I bring you over to my sink, I'm just going to show you what I do next, because this is always something that people find really fascinating. If you see my tap in the background, there we go. Okay, so I've got... Here we are, this is the simmering basket, which is one of the accessories that comes with the Thermomix. These machines, all their accessories are multifunctional. So this is usually used to cook rice or vegetables in while you're preparing a soup or a sauce in the bottom of the Thermomix. You can also use it as a sieve. So I'm going to use it as a sieve just to separate my butter solids from my buttermilk. So if you can see, if I pour in here, there it goes. I just want to collect the buttermilk in a jug underneath because I don't want to waste that. And then my butter will drop out. There it goes. So that's my butter. And then all I'm going to do is allow it to just drain through. And you could wear gloves to do this if you want to, but my hands are clean. I've got my tap running, like that. You can see the tap running. And then what you want to do, once you've sort of squeezed out, just take that off for a moment. Once you've squeezed out all the buttermilk, so I'm just going to give it to you as an example. You can see all that buttermilk coming out, yeah? Don't throw this away because you can use this. It makes fantastic. You can put it in cakes. In fact, you can drink it in your coffee, put it on your cereal, but it makes fantastic scones. It will make great cakes. You can make soda bread using it. There's all sorts of things that you can use with that buttermilk, so do not waste it. Put it in the fridge and then use it. Great, makes great American pancakes as well. So once you've squeezed out, I haven't done all the butter, I just want to show you what I'm going to do with it. Can you see my tap on now? Let's run my tap. So once I've got my butter like that in my hands, I am just going to wash it under a cold tap. Cold is really important, obviously not hot, otherwise you'll melt your butter. And just rinse out all of that remaining buttermilk, okay? So that, I'm just going to show you that for an example. I've obviously got more left in the sieve, but there we go. There's a lovely pat of fresh homemade butter made from double cream in just 1 minute. And at a fraction of the cost of actually buying it ready-made. Plus, you can put all your own flavourings in there. So you could chop out herbs, you can make garlic butter, garlic and herb butter. You could make sun-dried tomato butter, gorgonzola butter. You can freeze it. Okay, so you can roll it into logs, portion it up, and then freeze it. So you've always got these amazing butters to hand in your freezer. Right, I'm just going to leave that as it is, just to drain out. And then come back to my Thermomix because I want to get on with a couple of recipes. So what I'm going to do first is get my, get my hot white glue wine on. So this is a bit like a mulled wine, but I'm doing it with white wine and some apple juice. So super, super festive. Okay, so I'm going to do it in this machine here. What I'm going to do is just call up from my weekly planner. If you want to see my screen, I'll bring you over so that you can see what the screen looks like. So here are all my recipes. So on this screen, I've got access to my created collection. So these are all my recipe folders that I've found from 60,000 recipes. I've found lots of different recipes that I then organise into folders. So you can see I've got a chicken folder, I've got a cake folder, a baking folder. There's all sorts of things there. So they're my recipes that I can store on this machine. We also, as a business, produce our own collections, which are just like recipe books that you can look up the recipes in. So, for example, we've got this lovely Thermomix Christmas cookbook here. And if I just click on that, I've got access to all 63 recipes directly on the screen of my machine. And then if I want to do a certain recipe, so there's all sorts of lovely things here, I click on that. Look at this, Christmas pudding tipping balls. Just click on that. And then I can press start cooking and away we go. And it just will walk me through that recipe step by step so you can see how easy this makes cooking. Right, I don't want to do this recipe. I just wanted to show you my screen and what I have access to on it and why it's so good for people who love cooking or the thought of cooking makes them want to run for the hills because they don't know how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go into my week. Another great feature of this machine, we've got a weekly planner. So you can plan out all your recipes on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. From that, you can sync that with an ingredient shopping list. So you tell it what recipes you want to make. And then the app will take over and create a shopping list of ingredients for you, which you can add to or amend or delete from if you already have those ingredients in stock. And then you can send that to your online shopping provider and get those ingredients delivered direct to your door. So it's an even more convenient version of doing something like Mindful Chef or Gusto, those home delivery cookery boxes, because you get your ingredients delivered and then the Thermomix takes over and cooks it for you. So you can really be very hands-off with it. And you don't have to stand there sort of slaving away over a hot stove and cooking using, a pot and a pan and stirring with a spatula, keeping an eye on it. The Thermomix will do all that for you and temperature control it. So I'm just going to load up my recipe here, which is part of my weekly planner. I said I want to cook it today. It's apple mulled wine. It sounds delicious. Let's click start cooking. So it's going to walk me through this recipe step by step. So if you can see the screen there, let me just pop you there. it wants me to put in 250 grams of apples. So I'm just going to weigh those in like that. Let's get going with this. Another little one. Just gone over, it won't matter. And then telling me to put that lid on. So in on that lid goes, and then it's preset for 4 seconds at speed 4. Okay, go next. Add 500 grams of apple juice. I'm going to put in my apple juice right away. That's chopped it up. 5 seconds, speed 4. Fantastic. 500 grams of apple juice. I'm just going to put my scales back to 0. Weigh in the apple juice. Like that. I've just gone a little bit over, it won't matter. Add a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now here you could add cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, anything that you want really. But I'm going to stick with the recipe and add in the cinnamon. Okay, this is not something I've done before. I just thought it sounded really nice and I was going to cook it live. So slightly nerve-wracking because I've not done this recipe before. But this is the beauty of this machine, because it's like having a chef, a sous chef in the kitchen, helping you, taking all that stress and pressure away from you. And crucially, you will get a restaurant quality result if you follow the recipe to the letter. So put the, let's put the lid on. And what's it telling me to do? It just is going to give that a little stir and cook for 8 minutes, okay? So I'm just going to turn that temperature dial around to 80 degrees. So that's going to cook away the apple juice and the apples and the cinnamon for about 8 minutes. Okay, while it's doing that, I then want to come over to my other machine and I'm going to just call up my mince pie recipe. So if I go back to home, go back to my week, and then I'm going to use my sweet short crust pastry recipe first of all to make the pastry for the mince pies. All right, so let's click start cooking. So I'm going to, and then it's going to again walk me through this recipe step by step. So I'm just going to move you that little bit further back so that you can see everything. Right, you can see this cooking away. Right, wants me to put some sugar in. I've already done that actually because I've ground it into caster sugar already. So I'm just going to click on next. And then let's get to the main recipe. So 250 grams of flour. I just want to make sure it's not too wet in there actually where I've made the butter. Let's just empty out that last little bit. 250 grams of flour. It's going straight in. So let me just reset those scales to 0. 250 grams of butter. Brilliant. Now I need some flour. Now I need some cold butter diced into cubes. So that goes in. My cold butter all diced up into cubes. Now you'll notice I'm not using my homemade butter for this because it's not cold. It really needs to be cold when you're making pastry. So that's gone in. Then some sugar. Just going to weigh in my sugar. I want about 30 grams of sugar, 2 tablespoons of the caster sugar, and a medium egg. Okay, I did have an egg around here. Here it is. Here's my egg. Let's break it in behind. So there in goes the egg. So that's the egg. Lid on. It's asking me to put a little bit of sea salt. I don't generally put sea salt into my sweet pastry, so I'm just going to ignore that. And you could put some vanilla extract or some seeds from a vanilla pod in if you wanted to. That would be brilliant if you were using this recipe to make sort of plain butter biscuits with. But as I'm going to use it to make mince pies, I am just going to miss that step out. So now it's asking me to put the spatula in the top, and it's just going to mix for 25 seconds at speed 5. So I'm stirring from the inside with the spatula like that. It's going to take 25 seconds this pastry to come together. It's absolutely faultless, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So I've got about 10 seconds to go. In fact, we're there, so I'm going to stop that. So here's my pastry. Let's move those bowls out of the way. There we are. I've got a lovely ball of pastry. Now pastry, so you can just pull it out like that. And then what I'm going to do is get a little bit of cling film, wrap it in cling film because it's not easy to work with when you've just made it. The butter's too soft after it's been processed. So let's just put the cling film, put it into cling film. Let's take it out like that. Okay, you can see that. You can see that. So we're getting it onto the cling film sheet. You can see it's beautiful, come together beautifully. Really, really easy. I'm just going to wrap it up. So there's about 500 grams there of pastry. Just wrap it all up. And in the meantime, this is cooking away for me, heating up the apple juice and the apples together. So I'm just going to wrap that in cling film and then I will put that in the fridge just to firm up. So I'm going to do that right away and then get out my ready rolled cling film from the fridge. My ready rolled pastry, I should say. So here's my pastry that I rolled out earlier, just to save a little bit of time. Okay, so here it is. So I rolled it out nice and thinly. Then I am going to, let's just get my mincemeat ready as well. A spoonful of mincemeat, there we are. This is my homemade mincemeat. Again, I made this mincemeat in the Thermomix a few weeks ago. So nice big cutter. Cut out my largest piece. So that's, let me just try to find this. Okay, so this is my largest disc. It's going to go, now I usually put them in little cupcake cases actually, so it just makes them easier to get out if the mincemeat bubbles over a little bit. Then it won't matter if you've got it in a cupcake wrapper. So I've just got a muffin tin here, and then I'm going to just sit it in the muffin tin. I don't think you can see that. There we are. There's one, and then there's one I did earlier. So let me just do another one to show you. Here's another one that I'm going to cut out. Use one of these little cupcake cases, fairy cake cases. These are. Pop it in. And then just squish it into the muffin case. And then you get that, that makes a really lovely size pie. Right, so let's move that out the way. Then, put that around that way, I can see you. A little bit of mincemeat. So this is my homemade mincemeat. Again, ever so easy to make in the Thermomix, less than 5 minutes. I just put in an apple, some orange peel, some dried mixed fruit, some brandy, of course, some orange juice, and I let it cook down for me, and some suet. Now I used animal suet, but you can use vegetable suet as well. So a little bit of my homemade mince meat going into each pie, like that. Okay. Let's try and get that in. And then you can either make a little disc as a lid, or what I quite like to do is, if I've got cutters here, I've got a lovely little Christmas tree cutter here. These worked really well last year. So just cut out a little Christmas tree like that, and pop it over the top. They look really nice. You can do a Christmas tree. You can also do a star. So if that star's quite big enough, let's see, that'll be all right. Slightly different style of star. There we are, going over the top. So ever so easy. Hopefully you'll have seen how easy that made making the pastry. Obviously, all you've just got to do is roll it out, just like if you bought a block of pastry from the supermarket. And to be honest, I have spoken to many people that say to me they always buy pastry because they don't understand where to start, or they've tried it and they've failed. Hopefully you've seen how easy it is in a Thermomix to make pastry. And so you just don't need to be buying it from a shop because it tastes an awful lot better and it's cheaper too. Right, so this has cooked away now. My machine is beeping at me. saying that it wants me to add some dry wine. So in I go. I haven't got 1,000 grams actually, I've just got one bottle. So I'm just going to put in a bottle of white wine. Just like this. Bottle of wine. And then 20 grams of brandy. So this is going to be a lovely winter warming drink. 20 grams of brandy. In that goes. And I must try, there's a beautiful German recipe on here for just a standard hot white wine, a bit like a mulled wine with white wine, but with orange in it as well. That just sounds to me gorgeous. But I thought the apple one sounded really nice too, so I'm giving that a go today. And then all I need to do is put the lid on. It's telling me to put that lid on. Click on next, and it's going to cook away for 4 minutes. Can you see this dial is preset to 4 minutes? My temperature is already preset to 80 degrees. And I just need to turn my speed selector here. My reverse blades have come on automatically. And that is going to cook away for 4 minutes at 80 degrees. It's just going to heat it all up. And I'm going to have a quick look through the recipe because I think that's the last step. So I've gone back onto my recipe home screen. You can see there it is. It's come up. And then if I press continue, I can have a little, I don't want to press continue, the downward arrow, I can just have a little look through the recipe. So I'm at this step now, add white wine and brandy, then heat 4 minutes, 80 degrees, speed 1.5, pour into glasses and serve. So this would be ideal if you've got, you've gone out for a sort of a wintry walk and you come back and you think, oh, I quite fancy a little tipple. Have a lovely warm apple, mulled wine and brandy toddy to warm yourselves up. It'd be even better if we could share it with friends, but sadly we can't. So that is my homemade mince pies, and I will post a picture later of the finished apple and mulled wine drink served into glasses. I can't wait to have one of these mince pies a little bit later on with it as well. I hope that's given you a flavour of what the Thermomix can do. If you are interested in buying one either for yourself or for a loved one for Christmas, then please do get in contact. Today is actually our last day for guaranteed Christmas delivery. So if you order by the end of today, you are guaranteed to get it in time for Christmas. We have a lovely offer on this month. We have a bundle offer of a Thermomix, a thermoserver, a Christmas book, and this beautiful apron that I'm wearing. And that is priced at £1169, so just £20 more than buying a Thermomix. We also offer payment plans over 1, 2 or 3 years, so you don't have to pay immediately for your Thermomix. You can pay from just £1.20 a day, and your first payment will come out in January, so not even before Christmas. So that is a whirlwind guide to the Thermomix. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. I really hope that I will see some of you become customers over the next little while. And enjoy Christmas, enjoy your cooking, and I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy and successful 2021.